Welcome to our channel, this is Ben, and today we'll be teaching you how to paint the Studio Series Rise of the Beast Scorponok. This will be a non-airbrush tutorial. We'll be using spray cans, markers, and some hand brushing. As most of you have seen in the concept art, there's like some moss and algae growing on Scorponok. We'll also teach you that in the later half of the video. So let's go paint some plastic. As usual, we'll be spraying the bare plastic with the black primer. For those of you curious why we are doing this, we are actually preparing the surface so that the paint will actually grip tighter to it. Next, we'll be using the Tamiya spray can to apply the gunmetal base color. Do not overdo the gunmetal and keep the coat as thin as possible. And after that, we'll apply a protection layer using the smooth clear matte coat. And that's all for the base color, really easy. And we'll move on to paint the details for the head. For the first step, we'll use the purple marker and we'll highlight the details on the upper part of the head. If you're not sure where to start, just refer back to the box art. Here's another tip for those of you who are kinda afraid of painting. You can actually dot out where the details are and then slowly connect them using the marker. Next, we'll use the magenta marker and give some highlight to the upper part of the details. Just a little bit on the raised edges to give it some contrast. After that, we'll use a purple soft tip marker and do a little bit of blending. And we're all done for the purple colored details on the head. Let's move on to paint the eyes. For the eyes, we'll be painting them with the metallic red marker. The eye socket for Scorponok is actually quite tight, so smudging tends to happen, but don't worry, we'll fix that in a while. Okay, for the fix, we'll use a gunmetal soft tip marker and we'll cover up all the red smudges that we did earlier. And for the red smudges in the deeper part of the eye socket, we'll use the panel line accent color and we'll actually flood out all the redness there with the black. And with that, we're done painting the eyes. Now let's move on to paint the fangs. For the fangs, we'll be using the Speed Metal SC66. I usually do not dilute this with water, I just paint it straight out from the bottle, but I go slowly layer by layer. And after this, we are done with painting the head and we'll move on to add the details, first in the board mode. To create the metallic purple shades, we'll be using the GX Metal Violet. Now we'll dip the sponge in the purple paint and we'll remove the excess. I went online to look for a concept art and we'll be using that as a reference while we sponge the color in. Remember to use a gentle tap and pull kind of motion when applying the purple. Do not overdo the metallic purple. Remember to keep some part of it in gunmetal so that there is contrast. Here you can see me tapping only the outer edges to create a shading effect. And you can see here, even without an airbrush, we can create interesting tones. Now let's continue to create more contrast with the purple paint throughout the body. Here's some points to take note. I actually don't apply the purple to the feet because if you look at the concept art, there is actually no purple shades on the feet. However, for the back of the hand, I actually apply more purple in view of the transformation. Next, we're going to paint the chest details with the golden marker. And after you finish this, we'll use the Gundam marker EX White Gold to create some kind of contrast. We'll squeeze the paint out from the marker and apply it with a brush. We'll paint the white gold to the center portion of the chest details. And we'll slowly blend it with the brighter gold that we did earlier. And this is how it looks like after you finish the blending. Now we'll repeat the same process for the details on the crotch. After this, we'll use the silver marker and paint out the rest of the details on the chest. And for the last part, we'll use the metallic cyan and draw a fine line in the center. And with that, we're all done with the details on the board mode. Let's move on to the scorpion mode. For the first step of the scorpion mode, we'll be doing the same metallic purple sponging. Remove the excess paint and start tapping with the sponge. For the scorpion mode, when I'm doing the metallic purple, I will go heavier on the torso and the upper parts of the leg. When you're sponging the claws with the metallic purple, you really need to work it into the gaps. Next, we'll sponge the tail with the metallic purple, and after that you'll be done. And that's all for the metallic purple sponging portion. Now let's move on to paint the claws with the Speed Metal SC66. To get a very even kind of look, you have to apply a thin layer, wait for it to dry, and then apply another layer again. And as the layer gradually builds up, you'll get a very nice silver color. And we're going to paint the silver for all the claws, the stinger at the end of the tail, and the blaster within the claws. And after you're done, we'll use a hard tip metallic purple marker and clean up all the smudges that we made by mistake. This will help to make the feel of the paint job look tight and professional. And for the last part of the scorpion mode, we'll be using the glitter orange to create some kind of a glowing effect for the blasters within the claws. Alright, we're done with the bot mode and the scorpion mode, so now we're going to do the favorite for some of you, which is the scratch marks or dry brushing. As always, we'll be using the Runefang steel and a short tip brush. Do keep in mind when you're actually doing the dry brushing for the back part of the scorpion, try not to do too much because it might actually cover up the purple. For the claw joints and the lower part of the legs, we try to do a little bit more of the dry brushing. Because for joints and lower part of the leg where there's a lot of movement and friction, in reality there tends to be a lot more scratches. For the bot mode, I'll be switching over to a smaller brush because I want the scratch marks to be a bit more precise. And there you go, we finished the dry brushing. So now in both the bot mode and the scorpion mode, it has a lot of very nice looking scratch marks effect. Right now, if you have a very sharp eye, you'll realize that the Predacon logo is actually gone. In the next part of the video, I'll teach you how to bring back the logo. So very easy, we'll soak the cotton bud in thinner and then we'll wipe off the paint where the logo is. And there you go, the Predacon logo is back. For the next part of the video, we'll be doing something very interesting, which is simulating the greenish moss algae look on Scorponok. We'll be using mood green and castellan green for the painting. For the first step, we'll use the castellan green to create like little dots of algae on both the scorpion mode and the bot mode. At this point, I'm actually landing the dots randomly. I did not refer to any concept art at all, so I just put them wherever I feel that looks nice. Next, we'll apply the mood green in smaller dots on top of the castellan green that we just painted. By doing so, we actually give the algae effect that we are trying to simulate a little bit of variation, because if you look at the mosses and algae in nature, they tend to have like different patches of color. And this will also make it look more natural. For the bot mode, I'm a bit more OCD, so I actually refer to the concept art. And I tend to apply a little bit less for the bot mode because if it's too green, it looks very strange. And there you go, painted with the mood green and the castellan green, but we're not finished yet. Next, we'll apply the AK Slimy Grime Light. So basically, this is like a green colored wash that simulates the color of the algae, and we'll apply the wash throughout the figure. So you can see here, especially on the scorpion mode, the castellan green and the mood green painting that we did earlier looks more blended together with the slimy grime wash. Personally, I find that this is very useful, especially on the tail area, because the details are actually so tight. It's actually quite hard to get in with the brush. So the wash actually goes in and then it saves you a lot of work. And there you go, we're all done with the moss and algae effect. And finally, we're at our last step, which is staining the figure with the panel line accent color. And that's it, we're all done with the painting, so let's put Scorponok on the turntable and do a side-by-side comparison. With the custom repaint, Scorponok now has a scorpion mode that is closer to what we see in the concept art. So likewise in the board mode, Scorponok now has a very realistic kind of feel to it. And that's all I have for the Scorponok custom repaint, and thank you so much for watching. So we come to the end of the video, and I hope that you've enjoyed so far. Don't forget to share, like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss out on any of my content. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye!